Hello. So I wanted to show you how I set up my flush and feed feeding tube bags for my NJ tube. And so anyway, hopefully I can do this without making everybody seasick, wiggling the camera around too much. Anyway, I'm not sure how to flip the camera around, so here goes. Here is the 1 month. That's a lot of formula there. Supply of cases that I got delivered to my house the other night. Each box has 12 cartons in it, and I'm supposed to do, well, my goal is 10 cartons a day anyhow, and I'm still working on that goal rate. These are the flush and feed bags as I showed in the last video. They come individually pre-bagged. Got the top off. The purple bag is for the formula, the blue bag is for the water. That way you can have a flush running every hour or 3 hours or however you want to set it up. And this is for the Kangaroo Joey pump set and flush bag. Okay, so let's see if I can show you how to make this work. It's going to be complicated, I can see that. Alright, so I'm going to stand up here in between two cases, and hopefully you can follow that. Okay, so each bag comes with like a hole here, rip and open perforation. Recycling, because we need recycling every time we open up bags. Okay, so widen my camera space here. Okay, so here's the hydration bag, the blue one, and the purple one, the formula bag. And I like, personally, for myself, looks a little dark, hopefully not too dark. There we go. I like warmer water running through my tube. It just feels better to me than cold water shooting through. And my flush rate is 30 mLs every 3 hours. But I personally found, at least in the last 3 days of me using this tube, I found that I prefer 40 mLs every hour, because then it just for sure keeps my tube patent, as I say. There's no chance of clogging, and I have an easier time getting in the extra water that I need so that I'm hydrated, because I can't get it all from the formula and I can't get it all orally either. I do have a PICC line, and I do IV hydration that way as well. Show you. It's not my typical cover, let's just say that right now, but it's what I had available, so I do have both a PICC and an NJ. Anyway, rip off your tubing. The cool part about this, unlike PICC line tubing, IV tubing and stuff, nothing spills out the end, like even after you prime it. I mean, you of course want to cap it off, you know, to keep the end sterile and clean and all that good stuff, but it's not like a regular IV bag where if you squeeze the bag, or if it was below a gravity drip point, lower than what you're holding it, you're not going to have any formula spilling out anywhere, so that's really nice. Disconnect my power cord and bring my pump closer. There we go. Okay, so these bottles you really have to, or cartons I should say, you really have to shake them. Like they say shake well, they mean shake well. Otherwise you don't get everything the way it ought to be. So shake really good. And you can tell when you can't really shake it anymore, it gets really foamy at the top, and that's kind of like your hint that you're done shaking. So because these two bags are connected, you know, right here, once you fill one, you got to cap it off, and it's kind of a balancing game to fill the other. So I'll fill the formula first and then go to the sink to fill the water. Like I said, I like to either boil or we have a hot water boiler, a Zarushi brand, and so I just add some hot water. Not enough that it's gonna melt the plastic, but you know, little cooler than hot water temp, and like for hot cocoa, and that way it stays warm enough through the day and makes my body happy. So you just open up your opening a little bit so that it has room to go down inside. And I save a carton so that when I'm priming, I have the carton to spill back into, and then literally just pour. If I designed the bat or the carton, I would have designed it without the cornered tips that make it a little tricky to get all the formula out of. But that's how I would change the design. Okay, so that's one. You also want to keep track of how many ounces you're filling your bag with, because that's important when it comes to priming your pump. You have to put in there your total amount so that the pump keeps running and doesn't just shut off suddenly when you still got a carton left to go. So shake it up really good. Pour it in the bag. I like to do 2 at a time. You can actually fit 3 in this size 1000 ml bag. They tell you don't mix old milk, new milk. You don't want any chance of, you know, food poisoning or whatever would happen with formula. Anyway, that's just what they tell you, and that's the recommendation I would go with, because I don't want any chance of, you know, Ralph and formula. That just would not be cool in my mind, and defeats the purpose of putting the formula in, which is to be healthy. So press the top down. It's kind of a tight, and then it's got this little, you can like lock the tab in place, and then there we go, like that. And let me bring this down so you can see. Let's see.